got it for 3 reasons: right time, right place, and right
Is
guard.
that fake chest hair?
Yes, it is fake chest hair. I did it so you could see the Star of David a little better.
That's really funny.
This is where the troops go in the back right there.
Mr. Swiney, we are no intro needed, but we're here though.
It's good to be here. I was glad that it was able to work out.
So we talked about this prior to like us getting on here, but I know you said like I think it was Mark. He was like, guys, I'm getting on the show, but I need help like organizing something. Were you in that situation too when you found out you were going to be?
Yeah, most definitely. So like I said earlier, like we had like a group chat from like our original squad, and like when Mark reached out, he like asked for like advice and like stories to tell and everything, and it was kind of like the same thing. Like once it just kept going down the chain in our old squad, we were all just like, hey, like what should we talk about, what stories should we do or whatever, just trying to like have everybody get some input in.
So when did you find out, because I know Langford was the one who called you like on the show at first, like was that when you found out about it, just like flat out, or what was the
That was when I found out about it when Langford tried to call me. It was he called me in the middle of my roommate almost getting arrested. So
okay, this was not shared to me. I need the context.
So that's why he ended up hanging up, because my roommate was literally at a gas station, pulled over like right down the street from my house, and he called my girlfriend and was like, hey, he was like, I might be getting arrested, and because he couldn't get in contact with me, so she got in contact with me, and I ended up having to go over there, and like we had to take his car back to my house because he got pulled over, and like he wasn't supposed to be driving. So Ben was trying to call me in the middle of all of that, so I was literally like on the way to the gas station. I was like, hey man, I was like, I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to be on the phone. I was like, this might turn into something else, like.
Dude, I had no idea. I'm thinking like, cause I don't know, cause you would remember, but like I was trying to see if you had any connection to Sydney Sweeney, because that's how I thought it was. I'm like,
I was literally sitting there in the car, and I just hear like, I was driving, and I just hear like, you're like, are you related to any relation to Sydney Sweeney? I was like, no, man. As I'm like looking at my roommate about to be arrested.
Oh my God, you were in the heat of this when this call was going. This was. Dude, yeah, I don't know what I would do in your shoes, because like on the one hand, you're watching, not hell break loose, but you're watching a very unfortunate circumstance. But on the other hand, God's blessed you with the opportunity of a lifetime. So it's like,
100%.
how do you take advantage of it?
I know, man. It was definitely a unique situation, and then Ben was like, all right, that's why Ben was like, I'll let you go. I know you're dealing with some stuff, because I texted him, like, he was like, hey, I'm gonna call you like probably in like 30 minutes, and I texted him. I was like, hey, I'm still going to try to answer. I was like, but I got to go make sure my roommate doesn't get arrested right now. And he was like, oh. He was like, yeah, that's probably something you got to take care of. So
yeah, I feel like it would have been good value, though, if had Ben shared that with me at all, because he did not mention that at all in the show. I just want to mention that. But we had a good time, though. But yeah, so for those not keeping up with the story of what we're talking about, though, you're the 4th guy from the same squad that's been on, because what we've been doing is we have one guest come on, they'll like call someone and say, hey, you need to come on the show next, and you're like the 4th string, like right now. So, and we're keeping this chain rolling. So
yeah.
So, so if you don't mind, can you just like brush me up on like what your like Marine Corps career? Because I mean, you and I know it, but just for the guest's sake. But if like, what's like the synopsis of your Marine Corps career, and then if you could kind of tie that into the squad that's being shared right now.
Okay, yeah. So all of our squad. So like when I got in around like 2017, 2018. And like came to North Carolina and everything, was over at ITB, and once I got to the fleet, came to 2-8, and that's where like the squad that like we're talking about was my original squad with D'Antonio was the squad leader.
Okay.
And that was our original squad that we were with the entire time that I was at 2-8, and that was the group that kind of just like stuck with us throughout all the deployments, and it shifted up a little bit as we got further on into like the next UDP and everything, because we went on the first MU, on the 26th MU.
Okay.
And that was the original squad that the chain has been going on through. That was with D'Antonio and Langford and Hughes and everybody, and now on to me. And then, so that squad stuck together, and once we got back, it started to kind of get like shotgun blasted the squad started like switching up and everything because Mark went out to like security forces or MSG. I forget which one.
Yeah,
he went to
MSG,
MSG. Because he came from security forces. But so once he left, then the squad kind of split up, and then some of the original guys that were all in my peer group, we stayed in like the same company, at least in the same platoons. We just weren't in the same like original squad that we were in. So some of us got split up. Some of us kind of found our way back into like the same squad. Later on, as we went on to the UDP in around 21 and into 22.
So I mean, we know D'Antonio was your squad leader, but like, what was your relationship to like each one, like between Langford, Hughes, and then D'Antonio, and then the next one you said you're going to call is Melton, which if I'm thinking of the right one, I know who he is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so Melton's a short little stocky dude. He's no, so we had a really good relationship. Like, so like our squad, that original squad, it was like no other. Like the bond that like everybody created was just completely different. Like it was. Like, there was always, like, the differentiation between, like, the peer groups and everything, but then once everybody, especially once we got back from the MU, like, the bond was, like, super strong between everybody, and we still stay in contact to this day, like, 6 years later and everything. All those original guys, we're all stay in contact, and we kind of, like,
and gents, that's how you should be doing it. Take notes, please.
We kind of started chain and just, like, I was actually just speaking to Langford about it the other day. It's, like, there's like a kind of like a triangle between like me, him, and our buddy Joey, who is also in our squad, and we kind of like randomly reach out, and then it starts like a chain call, and we call and reach out to everybody, and we still have a group chat and stay in contact to this day for the ones that are out and the ones that are still in.
Now, I do have to ask, but I mean, it's kind of a given because I mean, every guy is in the same situation. But if your group chat were to be leaked right now, what are the odds that I ask this because I need to make sure there's no liability. I won't get canceled. So,
man, let's just hope that never happens.
Okay, yes. I don't know if you know this, but they were like, you know, that group chat that like Trump and like Hegseth and like JD Vance had. Yeah, they were supposed to add me on that, but they didn't for some reason. JD Vance, stop acting like you're better than me, dude. Like, you made it to the vice presidency. You think you're busy. Like, don't forget your roots. This is where you came from.
No, anyways, man, it's crazy. The stuff that happens in that group chat. Like, sometimes, like, it'll be, like, dead for months, and then, like, it'll just get, like, revamped, like, randomly, and somebody will just send something completely off the wall in it, and then it just starts a chain for, like, the next, like, week or something like that. But it's still, like, we still stay in good contact. But, yeah, let's hope that never gets leaked.
No. Do you guys like? I mean, you're in Wilmington, so I'm assuming you might have more, in Jacksonville, you might have more of leeway with this. But like, do you guys do reunions, or like, have you guys like met up since you guys have gotten out? Because I know a lot of us struggle with that because we all dissipate, of course. But how has that been for especially that squad?
So it hasn't been. We haven't been able to have any like full reunions with like the entire squad, but like pairs of us have met up and everything, and a few of us have gotten into small groups over the years. Like one of our buddies had like this was a few years ago already, but he had like a birthday, and like a few of us came into town and everything to surprise him for like his birthday. Some of our guys from our original squad. So like we had our buddy Smith from our squad like came up from Florida and everything, and I've met up with like Ben a few times and everything, and we're trying to plan a trip actually in towards this summer with Langford and everybody, and he's going on a road trip, and we're gonna down to Florida from Wyoming, and so I think some of us are gonna try to meet up somewhere around like Georgia, Florida area, somewhere around there. So that'll be a good time.
That definitely sounds like a blast. You got to send me a photo just so I can like share it and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure. It's crazy just seeing everybody now, just like. Because, like, the ones that are still in, and then you got, like, Langford and everything. He's got, like, a full Mountain Man beard now. Just seeing him, like, how he used to be and everything. It's just funny.
Yeah. Now, I do have to, I guess this would be the perfect segue into the thumbnail of the subject here. But you have the it's a group of you guys with BFA tattoos.
Yes.
So this isn't your original, or are these guys in your squad too?
Yeah.
Or?
So all the guys that are originally from our squad. So the dude on the far left, that's Taylor Peterson. So that's JD. Okay. And then I believe it's
take a look for reference.
Yeah. So it's JD, and then me, and then Melton is standing next to me, and that's a Chavarria on the end. So all those guys were original members of our squad.
Okay.
I honestly couldn't even tell you like how this idea was born.
Not to cut off, but I was gonna ask like why. And I'm not saying like a bad thing, but like why the BFA? Like what was the choice?
Like one day, man, I think it was me and Melton, and we were like, I don't even remember where we were at. We may have been in the barracks or something, but like we were like looking at like tattoos, and he saw like a reference photo, and it was like a pink BFA, and it said like something like BFA veteran or something like that. And he was like, dude, what if we got that as like a tattoo? We said it as a joke, and it said like BFA warrior underneath it, because we were just like always made jokes of just like peacetime Marines, and everything. So it started as a joke, and then we realized it got serious very quickly, and because the whole squad was on board with it. We talked to everybody. They're like, oh yeah, let's do it, like, because everybody thought we were kidding. And then it came to the time where we were like, hey, like, we're going to the tattoo shop like now, and they were like, y'all are actually doing this. So then like half the squad backed out, and it came down to the 4 of us, and we ended up walking into the tattoo shop, man, and I'll never forget the look on their faces when we told them that we all wanted BFAs, and they were like, you guys are idiots, man. But they were like, let's do it. So we were all literally just like 4 separate booths and all getting BFAs tatted at the same time. And then it just became a running joke, like the whole the command found out about it and everything. And like we were like, literally, we just had like higher ups like coming up to us, and they're like, let me see it. And I'm like, you want me to drop my pants right now? And they're like, dude, like, let me see it. So like everybody wanted to see the tattoos and everything. We kind of chose a bad spot to put them on our legs, so like when everyone asked to see him, we were just like, I don't know if we like needed to be like dropping our pants right now. Like it was kind of like a whole thing. But no, it was definitely, it was funny because we got known around like the battalion for getting those tattoos. So we had random people coming up to us that we like never knew, and they were like, are you guys the ones with the BFA tats? Like
it became that big of a legend almost in a way.
Literally, because Staff Sergeant Moore was our original platoon sergeant, and because him and Staff Sergeant Hawley, they were the ones that gave us the most shit about it. Like because they ended up telling like some of like the higher ups, and I think we were doing like room inspections one day, and they came up and they were like, are y'all the idiots that like got this done? And we were like, yes, we were. Like we're standing there in front of like the battalion sergeant major, and he's asking us about like our BFA tattoos, and he's like, that's hilarious. He's like, but you guys are dumb. Like,
Well, I suppose if you're gonna get made fun of or like have a reputation for anything, it's like for having a moto tattoo. That's probably not the worst thing to get.
It was definitely not the worst one, because like everybody. I was literally just talking with somebody about this, because like everybody went and got like all the O3 tats and everything, or gets like an EGA and everything, and then we just wanted to stand out. We were like, no, let's get BFAs. It definitely stands out, and it's a good conversation starter if some people find out about it.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, and plus, like, if you don't have anything, and like, I know it's not necessarily like motivating, but if you don't have something like that, or even like, are you really a Marine?
Yeah,
dude? Like,
it's
if you don't have that,
something just like to like kind of remember just like the stuff, because like I don't have like any other really like moto tats or anything. Just other than that, that's like kind of like the only like really like. There was one more actually, but that's
okay.
Oh man, you ever you see like all like the edits of like the like Slump Ghost like tattoo?
Slump Ghost.
It was kind of like there was like a bunch of like gifs of like the dancing ghosts and everything, and people had like put like military stuff on them and everything. It's kind of hard to explain. I forget exactly what it is.
Let's use the power of Google. I probably know I probably seen what you're talking about here. I can't put the name to the thing here. But I would say though, I don't know if Dragon Ball Z is the best reference, but like, is it weird to think that if like one of you guys who has the BFA, since there's only 4 of you guys that got it, right?
Yeah.
So like, if one of you guys gets captured, is it weird to think that like they're gonna realize like, okay, we found number 2 out of the 4, now we gotta find the other 3.
You gotta collect all of them.
Yes. I always like it when you guys bring on the group photos though, like the units and stuff. It's always a nice humble shout out, the way I'd put it.
Yeah, just remembering everybody that like we started with and everything, because that was the original platoon, and that was all the guys. A lot of them have already been on the podcast with you and everything, so everybody's in that photo.
Now, which platoon is this? This is Golf
3rd platoon.
3rd. Okay, I forgot about this until Langford mentioned it, because he remembered me actually, or at least he's pretty sure, but. So you guys were on the Oak Hill, like the tiny little boat that came through. Yeah, but we probably have had several run-ins then on that specific one, because we were 81s. We went to that boat for like a week, and then we did the field op in Kuwait where we did the machine gun range, and then we did like the mock. I think it was a force on force with like 81st.
It was a force on force with the 82nd.
82nd, yeah. 81st. Jeez. Yeah, and then we had that like that dumb. I call it dumb, but we had like the hike, and then going into Dubai for that port.
Yeah, when we got to, oh man, that was an interesting time.
Yeah, we had a very shared history though. That was
most definitely no, because I remember all the times like y'all came over, and when because I remember them trying to get the 81s inside the AVs was a nightmare. When everybody came over, they're like, how are we supposed to fit all this in here with the whole squad? So I remember all that vividly. I
don't think I've talked to many people about this yet, but Dubai though, did you like that port? I haven't talked to many people about that yet.
It's funny because I was literally like when I was like trying to like look at photos, I was seeing stuff from Dubai, and there was it was a good port. It was we weren't there for very long though, so it was like it was a good time there, but it was just kind of different to like see like how it is like out there and everything. Just like it was still like westernized, but like just still on the other side of the world.
Yeah, it's still like it has like the Arab like Middle East foundation, but like it's very like uber wealthy clearly.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, there's a little too wealthy for my liking, but it was nice out there though. It was definitely cool to spend some time out there and get to see some things.
Oh yeah, I don't know if this reveals how much of an elitist I am, but like I mean, you know, I don't know if Swiss bank accounts will be out of style, but I know where I'm putting my money in my investments. God forbid I get in trouble or like shit hits the fan here, dude. Like I fell in love with it when I went over there. Like I'm fascinated by it personally.
Oh, yeah, no, so it was beautiful, man. There was so much out there that was like it was amazing. I didn't get to spend a whole lot of time out there because I ended up getting stuck on the like the bus watch or something like that. I was literally
Shore Patrol, was that it?
Yeah, it was like the Shore Patrol or something. I was like stuck with like some of like the locals who were like drivers, and I had like a little razor like flip phone that they gave me, and gave it to you in like a Ziploc bag, man. And they were like, and you had like this cell phone that you had to like contact and like reach out with people, and you literally sat on the bus all day and watched people like get drove all around town and just kind of like security, not really that. It was mainly just making sure that people didn't like trash the buses and the transportation, and like
you're almost like this like Temu version of like U.S. Marshals on a plane, basically.
Except we were literally just wearing just normal clothes, and we just weren't armed. We just sat on a bus and talked to the driver all day while we watched everybody like go do a bunch of stuff all around Dubai and like Abu Dhabi and everything.
Interesting. Now, are the drivers, because like I know like because if you get like a foreign like Uber driver, which is like, you know, a lot nowadays it seems, but like they can spit out some real wisdom depending on where they came from, because like they've probably seen some shit. Was it the same thing?
Yeah, man, it literally like they were just laughing at all like the Marines and everything, because we were literally just driving around to like the different malls and just like all like the hot spots where it was to like drop off everybody, and we were basically just like picking up drunk Marines the entire time. So it was just like they were just sitting there laughing at everybody and just telling like stories about like interactions that they've had over the years of like just like moving like all different like military like troops and everything around, just taking them around town and everything. Yeah, because they came straight up to like the port, like all the buses, there was like a whole line of them, and they literally had like I said, they had like bags that were like numbered corresponding with the buses. It was weird, man. We didn't even really know about it till like the night before we ported there, and they were like, hey, these are the guys that are going to be on like the bus duty. And it was like kind of like a last minute thing that we found out about.
Now, were there, because I imagine, I mean, like, if you're watching Drunk Marines, so, like, your chances of having an interaction with someone who went over the 2-drink limit, which, let's be honest,
100%.
Everybody, like...
Yeah, literally like, everyone, man. I can't tell you, because we had a few guys in our squad that, like, didn't drink and everything, so they'd be, like, all, like, because at that time, like, all of, like, our seniors and everything, they would, like, I remember them just grabbing them. They're like, come with me. And they're like, you're getting 2 beers. And then they would immediately grab them and, like, run back, man. It was just funny seeing all that. But no, it was, it has some definite interesting interactions.
Yeah. Did you have to, because this isn't my idea. This came from my platoon sergeant Gunny B, but the way that he described it, because he said that like every port it's been the same. In Dubai it was the same way, but it's like it always looks like Passion of the Christ, because you just see like these like overly like hammered Marines just being carried up the ship like this.
Yeah, man, it was I can't. There was one guy, they like got in like a lot of trouble or something, but it was like because I remember them like getting out of like one of like the local taxis. They didn't take like a bus, there was one of the locals who was like a taxi driver, didn't speak like almost any English, and there was like a bunch of the platoon commanders that were out there trying to like communicate with him, and as they were like dragging people out of like his taxi, they were just so drunk, and they were like, I remember them dragging him up like onto the ship and everything, trying to see them.
Yep.
And that was funny, just watching all that unfold.
Was it just one day that you were there? Or did you actually did you have to do it both? Because we were there, I think 2 days.
It was like 2 or 3 days that we were there. It was just one day that was like the bus duty or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And it was like, because
so you actually got to go around and venture a little, at least a little bit.
A little bit. So like the first day, because like I think if I remember correctly, we didn't even find out about like the duty until like we had already been there for a day, because the first day we were like wanting to go out and do a lot and everything, but our squad was like, hey, let's just kind of have like a chill day. Like we went to like the mall, the Emirates, and like went and got some food, and we had a few guys. I'll never forget Chandler Thrift. He because everybody was wanting to like try different foods and everything. Like we're in a different country, we're on a different side of the world. Like, hey, let's try like local cuisine. Let's not eat like westernized food. And we ended up eating at B-Dubs at Buffalo Wild Wings inside the Mall of the Emirates, and that was so like that was like my day in like Dubai, because we literally ended up going to the mall and like walking around. We couldn't even like see all of it. We ended up eating B-Dubs, and we went back, and then they were like, hey, you have bus duty tomorrow. And then that was the day that they all went out and like explored everywhere while I was stuck on the bus all day.
Now Japan, though, I know that had to have been a mixed bag, because it was like you went to Japan when it was still like COVID restriction era time frame. So how was that like? Because that had to have been kind of...
So it was really interesting, actually, because like COVID... Oh, man. Because like COVID hit when we were on the Mew. That's when it literally... Because like when we left... And then it hit, so like we came back and we had no idea what it was. By the time we went to Oki, once we got there, it was actually like there was not a single positive case in all of Japan, like on like at least on the island of Okinawa when we first got there. But like a quarter of the way or like halfway through, there was a unit from Hawaii, a Victor unit that came out there, and somehow they managed to travel all the way out there, and their entire battalion did not do any COVID tests, and they showed up and had like 70 positive cases of COVID.
My God. Yeah.
So like all of like the Okinawans and everything were like pissed at us, and the bases got shut down because they ended up spreading COVID and bringing COVID to Okinawa when there wasn't a single positive case. So it was definitely weird over there, because at first like we got to like go out and like do a lot of things, and then it turned into a whole bunch of restrictions, because we were kind of like restricted to the bases. At first it was like minimal restrictions, and then it became like full lockdown, and then to the point to where like almost the entire company and like half the battalion was in quarantine. Where we literally had an entire barracks was just quarantined for like a week. So it just kind of turned into a huge party.
So I got out like right before, because like I was on the like 2020, December of 2020 was when I got out. So I didn't really like see all that like much that happened with like the military in COVID. But like, because like if I had it right, if like one guy had could you just like articulate for me what exactly was like the barracks life, or like how, I don't want to say ridiculous, but I mean a lot of people don't exactly like how the COVID stuff was handled. But like I heard like if one roommate had it, then like both roommates had to quarantine, and then like one would not have it, and then one would get it, and they'd have to stay there again. And you'd see like platoons would be like half filled, everybody's wearing masks everywhere, and it sounds like you guys had none of those issues from the beginning. Like you could go do whatever, go out in town, maybe wear a mask or social distance from everything. But then it like gradually just got to full quarantine, like you said.
Like I said, like once we got to Oki was in around, because that was around 21, so COVID had like kind of started to die off a little bit. And so like once we got there was like no restrictions. There was nothing as far as like social distancing or anything like that. Like we didn't really wear masks. Like we had to get tested before like we flew out, and once we got out there and everything. But then it became like really like big on, because like I said, like there was no restrictions when we first got there, and then it definitely turned into like wearing masks, like social distancing again, like in the PX or any buildings, unless you were in like outside in like the open environment, like you had to have a mask. And then the barracks life, so like close contacts was like a huge thing. That's how like we ended up like quarantining like the entire barracks, because it like we had the 4-man rooms. It was like 2 conjoined rooms.
Yeah.
So like if one person got
I forgot about that because the Okie rooms were bigger. So it was like 2 rooms. Well, 2 rooms, and so each one had 2 roommates, and then there was a connected bathroom. So if one person got it, then all 3 of these people were close contact, so then they all had to quarantine. Yeah.
And then by the time that they got over it, somebody else caught it in the room. So then it was just a constant, it would just keep stacking up like the close contact, and we would keep quarantining. Basically to where they were just like, hey, let's get ahead of it, and they quarantined the whole barracks.
Okay, yeah, which I suppose checks out because like if you think about that, if like one person gets it and then it goes to the next, it's like that's like probably a month or 2 of just one room getting it. And before you know it, that's literally an entire chunk of a deployment, just where like an entire team has to stay.
Yeah, 100%. Like it literally, it was like around like a 2-week period where like the whole barracks, we didn't do anything. We literally like. There was
legally you couldn't do anything.
No, we couldn't even like leave the barracks. Like the headquarters company would like bring up like carts of like to-go trays, and they would like drop them in the lobby, and it was like Lord of the Flies. Like people would like come and get like the trays and like just go back into their rooms and eat food. We weren't even going to work. Like people were just like walking around the barracks in like silkies at like at all hours of the night and everything. Like
that had to have been. I can't imagine like being a. I was gonna say officer, but I suppose any Marine leader, because it's like, I mean, whatever opinions you may have about like the whole COVID thing, it's like, how do you manage something like that where it's like you have like half your workforce like inactive, like, you know, swapping in and out like that, and then if you have like, how do you even train or do anything useful like while you're out there? That had to have been weird.
I definitely think it was a confliction point, and I could only imagine like how like the higher ups and everybody felt, because it was. Like I said, like literally, like basically the whole battalion was kind of on stand down because we didn't have enough people that could even do anything or get any kind of vital training done, because everybody was just on stand down. Like it was for a short period of time, I'd say. Like it was only a couple of weeks, but if you look at it in like bigger picture, like an entire battalion stood down for a couple of weeks, and we were just kind of like
that's
messing around in the barracks. It's like, but we couldn't really do anything about it because, like I said, it was like leapfrogging from room to room, so they just had to try to get ahead of it and quarantine everybody.
Now, were there any, because I don't know culturally what it did in terms of like that would have made fun of, like, this is going to sound very terrible of me to articulate, but like, for example, when we were on the boat and on the baton, we thought we had a case that popped up, for example.
Yeah.
So like we did the social distancing. We had some people like react terribly. Like when we were cleaning our berthing, like we had a guy like wear like his gas mask and stuff like that. Like, was there any funny jokes or just like, or any funny like opportunities that were taken advantage of with like either the quarantine or like COVID being a thing? I know that may not be the best way to like describe it, but like, do you know what I'm hinting at or trying to get at? Yeah,
like during like in Oki or on the Mew?
Well, I was thinking Oki, but either or, just because like I wasn't really in like when COVID was a thing, so like I don't really know how like it affected or like what it like brought out from the military. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of things, man, because it was definitely it was weird seeing like once it was like COVID was like a huge thing when it first happened, and everybody was like really freaking out about it. And but like on the ship, I remember, because like I remember we were like sitting there and like eating. Like we were eating, and like I remember watching the news, and we saw all this stuff, and we were like laughing because we thought it was like fake.
Yeah.
And like so like on the ship, because I remember then they were like, oh no, this is actually real. And I remember like cutting up like plain, we had like found people that had like plain skivvy shirts, and we were like cutting them up and making masks, and we were like having to start the social distance and everything.
That. People did that. Oh my god.
Yeah, there was like a picture of our buddy Smith Kyle. I actually was looking at it earlier because he had like. It was like the day that they told us to like make masks, and we were like, this is a joke. And like guys were just having fun with it. Yeah, dudes were putting on gas masks and like cutting up t-shirts and like wrapping them around their face, like making bandanas and everything. And he had like a sign. He was like, send me to war, send me home, is like what it said on it. And he was just like sitting there wearing like a cut up t-shirt on his face. He was like, man, we're done with this. But yeah, in Oki though, it was definitely. It was weird because that was when it got into the point where it was like mandatory for like the vaccinations and everything. I remember like us like all standing outside of like BAS, like an entire company standing outside of BAS, but we're all like social distancing, and we're like in a hallway, and they're literally just like an assembly line, and just people just getting stuck with needles. And then they were like, oh, now you need like this booster, or you need like this next shot or whatever. And like we had like our COVID cards, and we're getting like stamps, and we were just kind of like, what is going on? Like it just like seems surreal. Like it didn't trying to like kind of grasp what was actually going on.
And I think that's like the whole. It's a pretty good because it's weird to think that we're 5 years, we're half a decade removed from 2020, but I feel like that's like the perfect sentence to articulate it, because it was like the world of like 2019 versus like 2020. I feel like is just like marked like that's the beginning of the movie that is like the crazy times we live in now. It's like we don't know what's going on, but like we're just see it happening, and it's like this it feels so different compared to what, like, you know what I mean? Like it feels so different compared to what happened like but before we were on that ship.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because seeing all that like come to light, because I remember when like we first got back from the Mew. Because like we didn't really have any positive cases while we were on the Mew and everything.
Yeah.
Except for like I think there was like one or two that popped up on another ship, but it was from some people that had like flown in or something. Mm-hmm. But then I remember coming back to the States and kind of like around that time, like when you were getting out and everything, I remember how bad it was like on Lejeune, because that was the part that was kind of like a wake-up call, like seeing like and like looking back on it, like
which let's be honest, I mean, like, is it really that surprising that Lejeune has a disease outbreak? I mean,
it's definitely between the who knows what's next after the water and everything.
Oh yeah, but say like you're like I'm surprised they haven't addressed anything else sooner, like between like the LSD cases, the COVID, the water, which like I'm still convinced has not been fixed. I doubt it.
Yeah. I still wouldn't trust any of the water on Lejeune, especially.
Yeah, like if regular civilian water that's like we're told to like use water filters, you know very well, like Lejeune, Pendleton, you know, they're maybe Pendleton's a little cleaner than Lejeune, but let's be honest, you probably need a few filters.
100%. Yeah, and I remember that was really bad. But like I remember like coming back to Lejeune and like seeing like how bad it really was, in like the chow halls were like all closed. It was all like just like walk through windows, and like the PX, everything was like social distancing. There was like X's on the floor everywhere you went for like lines and stuff. It was crazy like how much it like really affected just kind of like the day to day, and like we weren't like really allowed to go anywhere or do a whole lot just because it was such a big thing, and like no one really knew how to address it or go about it, just because it was just something so new.
What's crazy about it, and I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like it's not too gloomy, but the conversation took a really like interesting turn here with the stuff. But do you almost feel like it kind of I don't want to say ruined? Well, yeah, I guess I could say ruined, like ruined part of like the Marine or the military experience. Because one of my junior guys, he shout out to Davis, by the way, he the timing of it was so bad. He didn't have like an actual ball to go to, like an actual Marine Corps ball birthday to go to, him or any of his peers.
Yeah, like, most definitely. Because that was because I actually know Davis, but that was one of the guys I couldn't remember earlier when we were talking about him. But I think it definitely changed a lot of guys' like careers and a lot of people's outlooks, because it was like when they started like making like the vaccinations mandatory, there was like a lot of people that like wanted to like get out, and they were like refusing the vaccination. And then later on, some of those guys, some of the guys like got kicked out, some people never got kicked out, and then some of them got brought back. So it was just like, it was a really weird time. And like with the ball and everything, because there was guys that were coming in for entire contracts and they never even went to a ball. Because like we were doing like cake cutting ceremonies and wearing like our alphas, like our like service alphas and stuff, that like that was something we did in Oki, because it was like we weren't allowed to have like an actual ball or something. So we like went to like the movie theater, like on base, and we were wearing like service alphas, and we did like a cake cutting ceremony and like sang like the Marine Corps hymn.
Please tell me they had like the Pacific or something playing like in the back, like something motivating at least.
Yeah, they like, I think it literally lasted, like, it was like such a quick thing. Like we literally were in there, and like I remember like we like sang like the Marine Corps hymn, and they were like, okay, that's it. I don't even think like everybody, like they had like one cake or something like that. Some of us were just like, can we go now? Like, we just ended up leaving, and they're like, yeah, that was like your ball. So that was like a lot of guys like experiences. I definitely think that it altered like a lot of guys' experiences, and like kind of like changed like how some people like thought or like had like their outlook, I would say. Like,
it was almost would you say underwhelming? Like it made it feel that way?
100%. Yeah, I definitely think that it was like that for some guys and everything. Like that was because I stayed in like, so like I like went to another unit like once I left 2A and everything, and I was able to see like a kind of just like a different side of things, and just like post COVID, like I watched like the whole like rise and fall of it, like in like the military, like how when it was like really bad, or like when it didn't exist and when it got really bad, and then kind of like started to die down again, and then it like got like on the tail end of it. So it was definitely a lot of people. I think it like kind of like altered their outlook, and they kind of got out because of it. So I think it definitely did like negatively affect a lot of people.
Okay. Speaking of people, I think this is a perfect time we call Melton. What do you think we do?
Yeah, let's see.
All right.
I know he was at because he was texting me while he was on the way out. While I was on the way out here, and he told me he was going to breakfast with his wife. So
Okay.
he should be good now.
And he's the guy with the cowboy hat, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, Garrett?
Try to hold up to the microphone if you can.
Hey, man, you're on 4 Years a Slave right now. I just wanted to give you a call.
What's up, Garrett?
Hell yeah, dude. What's up, boys?
Yeah, not much going on. I don't know if you've kept up with it, but so right now, each guest, they like call someone to try to invite them on, and right now we've had D'Antonio, then he called Langford called Hughes and Swiney. Now Sweeney's calling you. There's a lot of weight on your shoulders right now, Melton. You're going to be you need to be the fifth guy. You can't break this chain on me. You need to get on this show.
All right, man. It sounds like a plan. It's just an old third squad party up in here, I guess.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's literally going down the line right now of the squad.
Yes, very much so.
Oh, Lord.
Are you, if you don't mind me asking, Melton, where are you? Are you in North Carolina too, or where are you at?
I am. I'm in Jacksonville right now.
Oh, okay, sick. All right. Do you have anything funny you want to embarrass that you want to embarrass Swiney about while we got him on the air?
This is the wrong.
We already talked about the BFA tattoos. So if you want to really up it, you can.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The BFA tattoos is definitely a number one part for it. But other than when half of us told him that we would pay him to shave his entire body in the ship bathroom, and then he proceeded to shave his whole body with like 8 or 9 different Bic razors in the shower. Never got the money from it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I never got paid for that.
Wait, you were offered money for this?
Yeah. So they, I think they offered me like $50. And
Okay.
they bet me like $50 to like shave my entire body, and we had. Since that was like our first appointment and everything, like our hair just started to grow back. I was like, I'll do like neck down, and they're like, okay. So I took like single bladed like Bic razors, and I shaved my entire body.
Wow. Okay.
So that was I forgot about that. That was very interesting time.
Dude, talking about like I've never felt more free in my entire life laying in this rack.
Man, it was hot on that shit, man. So that definitely
Especially when the AC broke down, dude. I don't blame you. It's very intense. Well, Melton, I don't know if you're busy, but we will let you go. But anyways, you're always welcome to be on the show. Embarrass Swiney if you can. But hope you have a good rest of your day, buddy.
Hell yeah, boys. You too.
All right, brother. Take care.
You too, brother.
I don't know why, but I have like a good I get a good vibe from Garrett. I feel like he'd be a great guest to have on.
He's good people. He was, like I said, he was part of like our original squad. I mean him. Okay. We actually, funny enough, because we became really close and everything. That was like one of my closest boys like throughout like the entire time that we were in. We actually hated each other at first, but we actually became really close. Found out we had a lot in common, and so we came really close. That was he's good people though.
Okay, nice. You know what I was thinking we should do? And we could, and if the golf boys, if you're listening, what if at a certain point, because I don't know at what point the chain will break, but if we're able to get like the entirety of the golf squad on, like, because we've already got the chain
that
rolling.
Would be crazy.
Yeah, like all 5 or 6 of you guys on. That would be a wild one.
That would definitely be insane. I think it's something that we could definitely plan. Like I said, because everybody's still in such close contact, that would definitely be very interesting to try to work out.
Yeah, it would be who it would be. It would be D'Antonio, Langford, you, Hughes, Garrett. Once we get him on, obviously, and then I mean, I'm assuming maybe 1 or 2 more, but
yeah, there's a few more that still kind of keeping good contact with us and everything. There's a few that have fallen off over the years, but we still try to keep in touch.
Well, what is I mean, I know you're out, but what is next for what is next for Swiney? What is next for you in this life that post Marine Corps and your endeavors?
And post Marine Corps, it's definitely it's been interesting. Like we talked a little bit about it earlier. Like I kind of like bounced around with like what I was gonna do once I got out, and then like because like I'm in the reserve still, so it's kind of like still having like a foot in the door and everything, still like getting to like do like some like grunt stuff and everything, and like have like still kind of like holding on a little bit to it, but it's like it's weird like getting to do that stuff, but not doing it every single day. So like now I'm working in corrections and everything. So I've been working in the jail for the past about 2 years.
Okay.
We'll see what the future holds, what the next step is. But
yeah, it sounds like you've got your fair share of action compared to most others. So.
Yeah, definitely. It's a very interesting career. It was kind of similar, like as far as like structure wise and everything, like getting into like law enforcement, like going into like that kind of realm, or like out of the military is like a good transition.
Yeah, our correction, I could be wrong, but corrections office, aren't they basically cops, or do they have to go through the same avenue?
So it depends on like what you do. So like if you work for I work just for like the county, so I work at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Versus if you worked in like the Department of Corrections, like if you worked in a prison or something, it's like different because you're not working on like a law enforcement agency. Like you're working like in like a prison or something like that. So it's like there's like two different sides to it. Mm-hmm. But like you can go on and be like a cop or like a deputy if you want to.
So you didn't have to go through like the police academy or anything?
No,
like
you don't
that,
have to go through any academy. There's like schooling that like you have to go through. Like each state's like different, but like for like North Carolina, you have to go through what's called like DOCC, and it's just like your like certification course for like being becoming like a corrections officer. And it's kind of just like it's basically like going to college. Yeah, it's just like it's literally at like they host it at like Coastal, so like one of like the local colleges and everything, and you just kind of just go to school. And then, but also like learn like the sides of like working in like the jail and everything.
To everybody who is still in, I know technically you're still in reserves, but like for everyone who's still in that's watching, what do you have to say to them? What's your advice to, everybody still on their contract?
Man, my advice is definitely, man, like a lot of guys, something like kind of like what we were talking about with like COVID, like you can't let like your like career get like chosen for you. You kind of like you got to branch out and like see things. Like there's so much to do like in the military, like the Marine Corps especially. Like if you just got to kind of like see what's out there and just like keep pushing for what it is that like you want to do. Mm-hmm. And if like a lot of guys, like including myself, like a lot of guys get out and they always regret it and they like try to come back and they can't. So it's just like if it's something like you truly love, man, especially being like the O3 field, like just like stick with it and just like grind out as much as you can, learn as much as you can, just be a sponge, just take all of it in and just keep with it. There's so much more out there than just one thing. Like you just can't like lose your focus or like make a decision that like you're going to regret later on. You just got to do what you have to do to like succeed in your career.
Absolutely. Yeah. Stay committed, stay focused,
100%.
Definitely have goals, I would say.
Definitely. Yeah. You gotta set some things in place, especially like you never know what the next thing's going to happen that could like change like the outlook on like the military, like what's next. You never know. Mm-hmm. So
I love that. Do you have anything you want to plug, or like where can people follow you? Do you have social? I don't even know if you have social media.
No, man. I kind of I was kind of ghost like from like socials and like everything like the entire time I was in. Like I like got back on like kind of like Facebook, but it was really just like only reason like I got Facebook was like on like deployments to talk to people on like Messenger and everything. I've kind of just stayed away from like social media throughout like the entire time that I was in and just after as well.
Yeah, honestly, it's probably the better route.
It like, is. It definitely is in today's day and age.
Especially with this like high level platform that I run, And JD Vance, will you get on my show? Like, please. I've sent you so many drunken voicemails too. Can you? I'm desperate for people like that high to get on here. But where was I going with that? Oh yeah, social media.
You got goals, man.
Yeah. Yes.
Like
follow Sweeney's
goals.
advice. He's lived it. He practices what he preaches. Yeah, but yeah, it's probably better to, as you can tell, I've been affected by social media heavily.
100%.
So yeah, don't be on social media. Don't raise your kids on iPads. Have goals. All right, Sweeney, I can't thank you enough for being on here. It's actually turned out way better than I expected. Really amazing show.
I'm glad that it worked out, that I was able to come on, and I appreciate the invite.
Yes, and Garrett, get on here. We're continuing the chain of golf. You're not going to be the one to break this one. And show your BFA tat. Do you have it shown?
I have. It's on my. It's like my.
Oh yeah, you're wearing pants.
Yeah, I'm in pants right now.
Yeah, probably wouldn't be. Yeah, you're still in, so it probably would get you.
Probably not drop my pants on the podcast.
No, yeah. Well, thankfully you showed the one photo when you guys did get it, so that'll be the thumbnail.
Got a little sneak peek.
Yep. All right, so we're out of here, everybody. Take care.